Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back. This is the ultimate love letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. What is God trying to tell us when He is forcing us to sit down? This conversation is inspired by what I'm seeing in my own life, but also what I'm seeing in the lives of a few family members and a friend, where God has asked us to sit down. And this could be by way of illness, by way of jet lag, like me. What is God saying when He has caused us to simply relax, even if it's coming in a form of illness? I'll say for me, starting with my story, I feel like when I got back to the States, I was motivated to go even harder than before. In my mind, I was coming back and I immediately was going to upgrade the content, which is what I'm doing with the new lighting that we've gotten. I was going to upgrade reels that I'm posting on my personal account. I was going to upgrade sponsorships that I'm reaching out to. Everything I thought I was going to be doing to go harder, to get after, to align myself with what God has promised, the life that God has promised. I thought, you know what, God, I'm going to go even harder. And God did this. He has actually sat me down even more. When we understand what is happening underneath the surface of when we're being asked to sit down, then we can see how God is actually speaking to us in spiritual realms, how God is actually speaking to us and showing us, attempting to show us what He is actually up to. When I got back to the States, so interesting, I suffer from jet lag, which here's the crazy thing. When I left LA to go to Japan, which Japan is 17 hours ahead of Los Angeles, I had no jet lag. Like God landed me at a time, it was around 5 p.m. By the time I got to the house and got settled, it was already about like 9 p.m. and it was bedtime. Like organically, God had said, you are here now. There is no jet lag. You are just going to go about life as normal. You're going to rise with your family. You're going to be on the same time as your family. You're not going to skip a beat. When I went from Asia to Italy, again, a whole different time zone, no jet lag. How is that? It's like God was saying, no. I'm not going to stop you. You're living the life that I've intended for you. There is no blockages here. There is no stopping here. You are going to live, not skipping a beat, enjoying this time. When I came back to the States, instant and great jet lag. Now, here's the thing. I know how to get over jet lag immediately, right? I usually stay up in the flight, or when I get back home, I force myself to stay awake, but something happened differently this time. Not only did I sleep during the 12 and a half hour flight coming back to the States, which I knew I shouldn't be doing if I wanted to, get over jet lag, but I was like, nope, I want to rest. I've been through a big journey. I want to take this time and just relax. And as I did that, I got back home and immediately I noticed that I was no longer on the time that was Los Angeles time, but I know how to get over that too. But something interesting happened. I didn't. I chose to go with it. I chose to rest when my body said rest, which was about 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Then I rose when my body said it was done resting, which has been about 4 a.m. Los Angeles time. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, God, I I got here thinking I was going to ramp up, but actually you are slowing me down even further. You are giving me more rest where I thought I was going to actually hit the ground running. You are essentially saying there is nowhere to run to. Allow me to do it while you rest. I always get 8 hours of sleep. I stand by it. My body knows when I'm getting less than 8 hours. I don't feel as great as I do when I'm getting a full 8 hours. I just need it. That's just my life. It's been my life for years. But now God has given me essentially 10 plus hours every day, every evening to rest. And then what he's doing is he's rising me earlier, hours earlier than I would have normally risen, giving me essentially this much more time to just be saturated in his presence. Then as I go on about my day and do my godly work, do my client work, and I get home, essentially it's bedtime again for me. I have done nothing to remove the jet lag because I know just intuitively this is where God wants me. Like he wants me well rested. Well, what is that saying? Because life, my mind would say, no, you need to be grinding. You need to be going harder, like is what I thought I would be doing as soon as I got back home. But essentially God is saying, no, you're being rewarded for all the trust. You're being rewarded for stepping out in the courage to take this trip when everything around you would possibly be saying you shouldn't have been taking this trip. That took faith. That took courage. Here is your reward. Rest comfortably while I go to work for you. That is what God has been telling me. I thought, no, I'm going harder. I'm about to do all the things. I'm about to really put in all this work and I thought I was dedicated and consistent before. I'm going to times that by 10. And God is saying, oh, no, you have done enough. What you're going to times by anything is rest and relaxation. And so I understood what God was showing me in the spiritual realm. When we are in tune with God, when we spend time in his presence, time in meditation, time in prayer, we will begin to just understand what's happening behind the surface, what is happening in the quiet moments, what every quiet season is actually revealing. What God is saying is, when we are being asked to sit down, what God is saying is, let me go to work for you while you rest. Perhaps you're in a season of illness right now, like my beautiful family is, my beautiful daughter who is suffering from, an illness right now and is being asked to sit down. Baby, you have me. I have you deeply nestled in my prayers. And all I've been telling her is, take this time to speak to God about everything. God is asking us when he has allowed an illness to come. What he is saying is, I'm trying to get your attention. I want you to sit here and do nothing but speak to me. God is pining. He is desiring. He is aching for you to give it all to him, for you to just turn your attention to him and give him it all. Give him your gratitude. Give him your grievances. Just give it to him. He wants you face to face with him. And if we're not paying attention, he will use these illnesses to slow us down. All he's saying is, spend time with me. You are suffering from this illness. Can you give me your grievances in this illness? If you can, then God is saying, great, at least I have your attention now. This is where I want you. What are you displeased with in your life, my child, is what God is saying. How can I be of service to you, is what God is saying. Can you rest more as I go to work deeply on your behalf, is what God is saying. Don't allow the illness to knock you off your game. Don't allow the illness to just become complaints on your tongue. Instead, understand what God is saying. God is saying, I need you to turn your attention to me. Focus on me. Speak to me. What's hurting you? Speak to me. What's worrying you? Speak to me. What do you need? Speak to me. Allow me to work on your behalf. That is what these illnesses are saying. Dis-ease in the mind creates dis-ease in the body. Please, I'm asking you to hear that now. When God is making us sit down, just know He is making us sit down for one reason only. He wants your attention. He wants your communion. He wants your conversation. He wants your trust. He wants your faith. He wants your belief. He wants you to turn to Him. Understand what God is saying in the quiet seasons. I've spoke about this in one of my episodes when I first landed in Japan, and I was saying how I had landed there with this tight budget. I knew my budget, and God told me immediately when I landed, forget the budget. Not only are you on no budget, but you are the provision for your family. I could have immediately when I landed been like, there's no way. This is mine. This is what I have to travel, and this is all I'm going to do it. That would have been a scarcity mindset. But I understand what God was doing when He was showing me a family in need. What He was saying is, you have the resources. I am the resource. I am going to flow through you to your family. That is what God is saying when He's showing you a need. That is what it means to be in tune with God, where you're no longer looking at what's happening on the surface, but you are focusing your attention on beyond the surface. When we are focusing our attention on God, when we ask God in every moment, what does this mean, God? This looks like a block. This looks like perhaps this is something that I wasn't planning for, but what are you saying through this situation? When we begin to ask those questions, God will for sure answer with what He is doing. He will show you what He's doing behind the scenes. Another thing that happened when I got back home was crazy. I have organically let a client go. And, this is crazy. It would normally seem misaligned. When I'm coming back home and I'm thinking I'm going to go harder, I'm going to work harder to make sure that I can go back out on the road soon, you would think that would mean I need to make sure that I'm working with every client that wants to work with me. And that not only that, but I'm securing even more clients. What is so interesting is I have one beautiful client who I thoroughly enjoy working with. However, it takes a lot more of my time. I have to travel further to work with them. I have to travel further to get back after working with them. And if I'm being honest, it did feel a little heavy in my spirit, because I know that that's taken away from my work with God, God's work, my collaboration with God. And so as I got back home, God beautifully does what He does. He created a roadblock that looks like a roadblock where I can't get to my client easily. But I know behind the scenes, God is saying, you're not to be working with this client right now. You are to be taking that time and putting that energy into our work, into the things you want to build in the future, the things that I am putting on your heart to build. Don't worry about the money that will not be coming from that client. Focus in on me and allow me to replace not only your time, your energy, but of course the money. So here it is again. Not only am I sleeping more, working on my clients that I love working with less, but I feel more replenished. I feel more energized. And I understand what God is saying. God is saying the resources, everything you want, everything you dreamed of, everything you need is here. You go to bed, not 8 hours, you go to bed 10 hours and allow me to work for you. That is what God is saying when He is slowing us down. Yeah, I thought I was about to get back home and I was going to ramp up. I thought it's going to be late nights, which is always late nights when you're working on your projects, but what a reward. It has been no late nights as of recently. It's been working when God says work, resting and long when God says rest. And it's been nothing but ease. And when I turn my attention to God, like, God, am I so good? God, should I be worried? God, should I be doing more? God is like, you're doing just enough. You are doing everything I have asked you to do. And your reward is the rest. Understand, if you are suffering from anything right now, whatever it is that is asking you to slow down and to rest, just know that is God saying it is time to give Him more. Perhaps we are leaving God out of the equation. Perhaps we are relying solely on our own strength. May that never be the case. God never intended us to carry it all on our own. God is simply asking us to align with His will, to do what is ours to do, which is what is in our control, and allow Him to take care of the rest, which is what is out of our control. And here's the quick knowing. If anything feels heavy, if the work feels heavy, if the clients feels heavy, if the project feels heavy, that is your indication that is not for you. That is not what you're meant to be doing. We're meant to go where it feels light, because when it feels light, that is God saying, I'm carrying the load. That is God carrying the load for you. So then you want to go where it's light, because God is saying, this is my will. This is the direction I have for your life. So I am going to carry, I'm going to do the heavy lifting for you. That is your indication of the right path and the right clients and the right work and the right job that we ought to be doing. Follow the bliss, follow the love, follow the lightness. You feel it in your body. If it feels light, then it's right. If it feels heavy, we're to put it down. And then when we put it down, we no longer need to worry about where the resources will come from, because you're already in alignment with God's will for your life. Thank you so much for joining this convo. I want to hear from you. Are you ready to put down everything that's heavy? Are you ready to, if God has you in a season where you are slowing down? Everyone talks about the slow life. Is God trying to give it to you by slowing you down? I know it sucks when we're in illness, but understand the illness will come when God can't get our attention any other way. If you just move in a space where you can kind of, now you're in tune with God and you kind of understand what He's doing when he's working behind the scenes. For instance, when you're jet lag and you're not forcing the reversal of getting over the jet lag, although you're just simply enjoying the extra rest, then that is what it looks like when you're in alignment, and God doesn't need to bring an adversity. He doesn't need to bring pain. You're enjoying the rest. You're understanding that God is just saying, this is your reward. Slow down. Don't worry about anything else. Then you can just stay in that alignment, and nothing will come that hurts you or stops you, and that looks like an adversity. At the same time, when we're understanding when God is asking us to slow down, you're misunderstanding when God is saying, don't go to work today. Don't go to that party today. Stay in and rest. Stay in and spend time with me. Then God will escalate it to illness, yes, and other adversities if we're not careful, because He is drastically desperately trying to get our attention, only because he really, really wants to carry the burden for you. And he will do anything, and he will use anything to get your attention, and that might look like illness. Don't sleep on what God is doing behind the scenes. Understand what God is saying. Thank you to everyone who checked out our new book, Fake Ass Vegan, that is live right now on Amazon. Thank you to everyone who reviewed the book. If you have a copy, please, please, please go back to Amazon and quickly review the book. Your reviews make our book more recognizable, just like your reviews on the Ultimate Love Letter podcast. Every single review makes your podcast more available. Please consider sharing this with someone who needs a reminder to slow down when God is asking us to understand what God is saying. Thank you so much for being here. I adore you. I love you. I'm praying for you. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again real soon. Bye for now.